Good morning, everybody. Uh, Okay, sorry, afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another session, uh, the free cybersecurity training organized by Halogen Group in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development. It's almost time. It's time actually scheduled, but probably I'll just give you guys an additional 3 minutes for um, other participants to join, so they are not left out of what we're doing. Okay, so let's just give them 3 minutes. So we'll start at 12:05 on the dot. Thank you. Okay, I think we've done our best waiting for them. So let's start. Good morning. Sorry, good afternoon once again, everybody. Welcome to the final session of our free cybersecurity training. I'm sure it's been an insightful session for everybody. Um, yeah, whether technical or non-technical, I believe you might have gained one or two things today. From this course in totality. So, yep. Um, welcome, welcome, and let's start. So, um, if you have been following the course as it's been coming, you'll understand. Sure, yesterday you know what we did yesterday. We touched on the practical aspects of hacking. We installed or we tried to install the Kali Linux machine on our install the virtual box, we install the Tor browser, then we install the Kali Linux on the virtual box yesterday. Um, so a lot of you might have run into a whole lot of issues. I will just go over some of the things that most of you or some of you talked about. That was an issue for you. That was an issue for you yesterday. So Yes, so let me tackle that so that while I'll do some other things in the interim while you try to settle what's the issue is. I mean, while you try to settle out on some of those things that you heard. And yeah. Okay, so let's start. Um, yeah. So this was where we got to yesterday in on our installation. Um, so this was where we got to yesterday on our installation process. So we'll continue from there. So after all the previous screen, what you get is install grub bootloader to your primary drive. You click yes for this. This warning is also very good. But the truth is that it will always give you this warning. And one thing is that if you were installing it, sorry, if you installed it on a if you installed it on your base machine, you will it will automatically take over the welcome screen of your machine. That's what this grub loader means, is the bootloader. So that's what we select which operating system, like on my major system where I use for um hacking purposes. I partitioned the hard drive. So one partition is for Kali and another partition is for Windows. Um, so the reason for that is so that I can use the full capacity of the machine when I'm performing my attacks. So that is one of the purpose. It makes your it makes your attacking process very seamless because it's utilizing 100% of your machine, unlike the virtual machine where you have to allocate and allocate. That reminds me, that's another thing that a lot of people had problems with. So here we click continue while I go back and explain some other things. So for those of you that stopped here, I tried to put it through also yesterday, those that were able to communicate with me. Just click on continue. This thing has started this issue today. Then just click on continue and select the second option. So if you do enter device manually, you would have done that if you're installing it, if you partition your machine. So here we do this and it install the bootstrap loader. So please, when you're doing these installations on your machine, I'm sure some of you, what you try to do was to allocate the same thing that I did here. Please, the funny thing about these machines is that my system is totally different from yours. So you shouldn't allocate exactly the same space, RAM, and all these other parameters that I fixed. I fixed them just for your knowledge. If your system is running on a 3 gig or 4 gig RAM, I'm sure you won't want to. Let me see what I allocated for mine. So if your system is running, so you see, I allocated 4 gig RAM. That's because I'm running this particular system has a 16 gig RAM space. And so I allocated 4 gig out of the 16 gig. So automatic so I'm not using the entire RAM space for my machine. So for instance, I have a 16 gig machine now. If I wanted to, so the problem is I have a 16 gig RAM. If I allocated let's say 15 gig or 16 gig, then my system would definitely pop up some errors. Same thing when it comes to the part of allocating storage. When you're allocating storage, I allocated almost 100 gig here. That's because I have over 1 terabyte hard drive. So if you don't have the space, you can't utilize it. Well, Kali has the right, you can use 40 gig for Kali. And also make sure that whatever you have left on your machine, this is a virtual environment. It's like having another laptop in your laptop and you another computer in your computer. So you need to still follow what your computer can carry. You need to still follow what your computer can carry. If you have a 32 gig RAM, installed, then you can also utilize this is the base memory, this is the RAM memory. You can add about if you have 32 gig, fine, you can put 10 gig and your virtual machine will be running pretty fast. That's good for you. If you have about 2 terabytes and you feel what you're trying to do in the virtual machine, you will need maybe 500 gig. Fine, you put your 500 gig here. If you don't, then just check what you have left on your memory. If you have 100 gig left on your hard disk, then of course you can't use the entire 100 gig. Your system will definitely crash. So what will happen here is that if you have 100 gig left, free space on your hard drive, what you would do is to maybe allocate 40 gig or 50 gig or thereabout. It's virtual actually. It will not utilize it at once. It's not going to pull the entire 40 gig, but over time, as you're working with the system, if you start pulling out that memory from your base memory. So please, those are some of the things you need to take cognizance of. Another thing I got yesterday was why did we have to choose the base OS? Why did we use bare metal in Kali Linux? So let me go there to show you the different options that we have for Kali Linux. Fine, we have a virtual box option here. I just didn't want to confuse everybody, just in case somebody else is using a VMware, or a different kind of virtual box. So the truth is that you can actually choose to select this, but the installation process will be different. It will be different. If you choose this, the installation process will also be different because this is for a VMware and this is for a virtual box. And also take note of your system bits. I got some people who have a 32-bit laptop and they still selected the 64-bit. It will not fly. It will not work. That's a different architecture you're trying to force on your machine. If your machine is built for 32 bits, please choose 32 bits here. That's for the bare metal. Here you could choose 32 bit and you download your 32 bit instead of doing the 64 bit. Some people also came up and said, "Oh, how do we do this on our phone?" So I talked about Raspberry Pi yesterday. So this is the part for you want it on your mobile phone. This is what you use, Net Hunter. So that's one and it's an open source. So you see, that's one of the advantages of using Android. I use Android. iPhone is just there as a spare, but the major phone is Android. Yet, so um, I've not experimented on using it on iOS before, so I can't really talk about that. But you can also just use it it's mostly Android that works with it. It works mostly on Android. You get all your tools here. So that's it. Without further ado, let's check what has happened on our machine that we're installing. Let's see if okay, so installation has been completed, and we click on this to continue. Uh, and back to this issue. Finish the installation. So that's it. It's finishing. You get this kind of screen. Let me just all this. Welcome to your Kali machine. To start booting automatically. So this is the grub. That part that you saw is the grub boot. And yep. So our Kali is starting up. I know some people actually who got to this point yesterday. That's good. So there are actually lots of resources online for you to also follow. If you want to follow them, go ahead, please. The main aim is to get your Kali up and running. This is just, most people like it when they see somebody demonstrating it for them. It goes in better that way. And so, yeah, fine, let's follow it that way. So this is it. It's loading. Let's wait for the applications to get up and running. Before that, let me just quickly give you this quick tips on how to scan for malwares on your machine, even if you don't, what was the username I used here? Wow, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. Oh, shit. Oh. Wow. That's also one thing we always have to remember. That's the username and the password. Well, wow. What did I use? Oh, so there we go. We're in. Or did you lock up? Okay, no, I guess we're in. We're running. So yeah, good. Thank God. I got that. I almost forgot. So that's one thing you always have to pay attention to the username that you impute when it's installing. Good. We're in right now. Let's do one or two commands and see if we're running properly. Uh, so this is what we call terminal in Kali Linux. This is called the terminal. And this is where you'll be imputing all your commands that you're running. You're imputing all your commands in the terminal. So for instance, I told you one of the first commands we do, sudo actually means super user. So in Linux environment, yes, when you see sudo, it means super user. So super user super user should do, that super user do. And then we'll do apt get update. So this is the first thing you should do. So you update your machine. And this should come running. So it's done. That looks very strange. It should take a little longer than that. So it's likely it's not communicating with the server as it should. Okay, so now this is upgrading it. We're upgrading the machine. And that was the command I used, sudo apt-get. So you can combine both commands if you want. But for this sake, let me not complicate you guys too much. So what I did is just I did super user do apt-get upgrade. And then it gave us all these options that needs to be upgraded. Says that you need 1,000 MB of space. After this operation, blah 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 will be freed. So just click yes. Type Y and say okay. And so that's it. It's connecting to the server of the. So that's it. It's get done in 10 minutes or less. So depending on how fast your network is, one of the major, it's always good you update and upgrade your machine before you start any attack because this is an open source operating system. And this is an open source operating system, and there are lots of upgrade. One of the major rules in cybersecurity is to always upgrade. One of the major rules to secure your machines and everything is to always upgrade. And so here we're upgrading, we're downloading a whole lot of new tools that have been upgraded to newer versions and probably a stable version. So that's one of the first commands you do here. We're upgrading. So while we're upgrading, let's just leave it like that to run. Let's just leave it like that to run. Okay, let me just, for the sake of some people who might not be seeing what I typed, let me open a notepad. Let me get a notepad that we'll be using. So let's get a notepad. Um, so I'll type all the commands I'm imputing so that you can see it properly. So this is the notepad. First thing I did was sudo space apt dash get and update. Then I did update. Sudo apt get update. That was the first command I imputed. Let's increase this view a little more. Okay, let me increase the font. Let me increase the font. Um, let's do 24. I think that should be big enough. So 24. Let's see how it looks. So that was the first command I entered. The sudo apt-get update. Maybe I should just add a little more to the size. Let's do 24. Let's do 30. Right? Let's do 30. Fine. So yeah, that's the command. The sudo apt-get update. First popped up what it popped up. Then the next command I did was sudo apt get upgrade. You can combine it and put Y. So that's the yes that we entered at the end. But you can also leave it like this and just press enter. So that get upgrade, press enter to populate all the lists of what needs to be done. And then you will press yes, which is for Y. So, but sometimes if you're used to it, if you're familiar with it, you can automatically say, okay, get the update and then say yes to whatever it you request. So you just do this. This is what we call bash scripting. That's what we call bash scripting. When you combine several values or several commands together, it's called bash scripting, but we're not going into that today. So now let's go to a website. Let's see, while this is updating, let me show you something, how to do a malware analysis. So for instance, somebody sends you a document and you're suspicious of that document. Maybe you get an email from XYZ company and saying, okay, please check this attachment or your winning code or something more like a social engineering attack. One of the best ways for you to do before you open that file, you go to a website called Virus Total. So let me just do that, type that for you here before I go back to my Windows machine. I will have something called virustotal.com. So this is why this is updating. I don't want us to keep waiting for it to get done because you have to update your machine before you do any other thing. So let that get updated, then we'll come back. But before that, let's just go through this. So you go to virustotal.com. It's virustotal.com. And so let me go there so you can see. So new tab, go to www.virus. So for those of you that don't have computers with you, you can also follow something. There's something you can do here. You click enter, and then it loads us the Virus Total web page. So if you can see from the intro message you see here from Virus Total, she says analyze suspicious files, domains, IPs, URLs to detect malware and other breaches. Automatically share them with the security community. So this Virus Total now, what we can do, for instance, somebody sent you a file like I explained, and you're not sure. You just come here. It works on mobile phones too. So maybe I should use the mobile version because I know a lot of people will be using mobile phones. So this is how it comes on the mobile version. So it will be like this. I think this is a good enough phone. So it comes like this, and you say choose file, and it will show you. You will have a list of files that you can choose. So this is an activator. You can go through your folders and then choose what you want to choose. But so I'll be using this activator as the example today, and I'll open it and upload. So if you check, once it does that, can you see? So let me expand it back. I think it's good enough. I've explained what it means, how it will appear on the mobile phone. So you see, it was very fast. You can see that it details this particular file that I just added now as a malware. It's a malicious file. It's a malicious file. It explains the behavior of what it does. So this is the process tree. Come there, do this, do that. If you come here, you can see it's been detected by several antivirus companies. So even if you don't have an antivirus on your machine and that file has been sent, maybe somebody sent you even a PDF, just upload it here, scan it, see what you can see. So that is it. You can see that the malicious file. It's a malicious file. It popped up as a malware. So that's how to do that for a file. So let me repeat the process again. Come to virusdata.com. Choose the file you are suspicious of. In this case, this is what I'm suspicious of. Let me check my torrent folder to see. This is what I'm suspicious of. You click it, it comes, it uploads, bam, you see it, you know what it is, and that is how you can now choose whether you will make use of that file or not. If it's for a website, somebody sent you a link and say, hey, go to this link, you will see 20 million naira when you submit 2, 3, 1 thing, this one story like that. So what you can do is simple. Just come here, check the URL. Let's say, I don't know which URL I will use that will not put us in trouble. Let's say we want to check for, let's say we want to check if facebook.com is okay. They allow a whole lot of this kind of, it's for experimental purpose only. Facebook, www of facebook.com. So we just want to see if Facebook is a reliable site. Maybe when we click it. So if you search, so you can see there are no security vendors that has flagged this URL as malicious. So you go through it, you can see everything is clean. So that means you can actually access your Facebook and it's a clean website. Which other website can I use as an example? Now, let's say there's a website called webgoat.com. You see, webgoat is also clean, nothing. I'm looking for a website that has issues so that you see what I'm saying. I can't remember anyone right now, but well, and I don't want to use the ones I'm remembering now. They are, well, you have permission to do that. You can also come here and search for IP addresses. If you have an IP address that you want to search for, let's say 8 dot. Okay, no, this is not an IP address. If you have an IP address that you want to search for, you can also come here, impute it, search, see how reliable it is. Somebody sent you a file. Let me check my email. Maybe I'll be able to find one of these malicious guys that would have sent me one funny email. And say, hey, click this thing. You get this. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Just look for somewhere, one company that I know a lot of this. Okay. Yeah. So let's open some spammers. So yeah, I've seen one company that says I've been chosen to win a grant. Right. Right. Let's see the website. Says I should respond back for further details. But I can't find. This one is using Gmail. Okay. Okay, I found one that we can use. Whether this will work. Well, let's try them and see. Just want us to see one that will be flagged. So you see how it looks when a company has been flagged for. Well, um, okay, I think I'll get you guys one now. Let's just give me 1 second. Show you on malicious website. I don't know what this is, oh, but let's just try, just for experimental purpose, please. This is youngthroats.com. Let's see. Oh, it's clean too. I thought they said it wouldn't be clean. Subtitle seeker. Let's see. So, well, just use your own website. Try your school website. Okay, so you can see one now. It says suspicious. So if you're not ready for that, so that's it. Something like that. You can try your school website. Try different websites that you feel like. So the website name is virustotal.com or something like that. Let's go back to what we're doing. Let's see if our upgrade is done. So upgrade has been done. So it has popped up this message that should we restart says we should restart some of our restart services during the there are services installed on your system you need to be restarted every contain libraries, blah 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 blah. Blah. Normally be prompted. So you can choose this option to avoid being prompted instead. So why not? You can just say restart services and say yes. Let's say restart it. We're not running anything yet. So let's restart it. So while that is running, what else can we do to okay now let me just show you some other things in our virtual box. Let me see why is that running. Okay, so it's unpacking. Um, and just wait. So there's also a way you can so for those of you that chose to download maybe the .ova file, that's the virtual machine file. I'll show you how you can also install it and run it. So the default password is Kali. Default username is Kali. Default password is also Kali. It loads faster actually than running the base metal. But I chose to go with the base metal option so that everybody is in sync. Everybody is on the same page in this course. So I didn't say, okay, you can, if there was enough time, I could touch on all those parameters, but there's not enough time for that now. So um, let's just wait for this a little bit to see what happens at the end. Okay, so let me just show you that. Let me just show you. So come here. So for instance, we want to we downloaded the OVA version of it. So what we do is you come to file. If you downloaded the OVA version, let me check first if I have it on my system because I think I downloaded it for something some time ago. Let's see, downloads. Um, okay, so it's there. So I'll do, man, my system is beginning to act funny. You have opened too many things. So I'm going to show you now. I'm just trying to extract the file. So this is still unpacking. It's very good you do this. And once you do this, the reason why it's taking this long also is because it's a new setup. So let's say, for instance, you did this today and you come in again tomorrow, you do it. It will take less than maybe 30 seconds. But it's always advisable that before you impute any command, even right now when I open another command, before I impute it, I'm going to show you guys how you always have to do this apt-get upgrade and update every time you log into your Kali machine. You have to update it. If not, you're using old repositories that might have some flaws. Okay. So it has finished copying. Let me just quickly extract. Yeah, I can show you what I'm doing. So you can get some boring things. This machine must not hang. It looks like it's responding slower than it should. Oh, it's not extracting. Why? Okay, so there we go. We'll just copy it quickly. Oh, shit, it doesn't have enough space here. I'm trying to do this. Well, um, so let me just give you a brief of how you can also, because I think my machine, I don't want to overload the machine right now so that we don't run into some issues. Um, let's not run into some issues while trying to sort this out. So, let me just show you how you can troubleshoot on your own. This information, this when it comes to Kali or anything Linux, trust me, the the support is available on the internet. It's everywhere. So just go to the documentation part of on the Kali website. Go to documentation part. We're really running out of time. I need to be very fast right now. So we go to the documentation part. Um, we have the Kali Linux itself with documentation, and we have a documentation for all the tools. We have a documentation for all the tools, introduction, installation, virtualization, which is what we're doing. We're installing the virtualization environment. Click on the virtualization environment, follow the prompt on how to install it. So this is it on installing Kali inside the virtual box as a guest VM. So I'm going to rush it, please. So please pay attention, or you can rewind later. So this is another. There's a web. This is the material or documentation for how you can install it on the virtual box. You can follow this. If you have any issues, still let me know too. So that is it. For those of you asking it on Apple and Mac OS, this is the way you do it on Mac OS also. That is it. Um, so yes, that is how you can do your documentation yourself. Go to the tools part. So for instance, you have a tool you want to use, you want to know more about the tool, just go to the tools aspect of it, go through it, see which tool do you want to use. This is aircraft to explain how you can use aircraft. If you want maybe like a directory buster, to explain how you can use the directory buster. Let's say what web, if you want to do the what web one, you can see it over there. Let's say Avesta now. Let's say we want to use the okay. Let me give us a quick one so that let's say you want to use what web now. Just click on it. It will explain how you can even install it and how you can use it. So this is self-learning. As an ethical hacker, you need to know how to do your self-learning process very well. So this is self-learning. It will help you a lot. So for instance, you want to install, let's say you want to install this what web now. Let's go back to our Kali machine. Oh, this Kali machine is still upgrading. Oh my God, it's taking too long. And I didn't want to jump any step. I would have done this before coming into this class this morning. But I wanted all of us to be on the same page and to be in sync. So these are the commands I've entered to get us where we are right now. Sudo apt-get update, sudo apt-get upgrade, and yes. So yes, that is it. Let me now show you how to install. I think I'll just have to rush the machine and get over with it. So because a lot of things are updating, I hope it's not part of what I'm going to use. Oh man, how do we do this? Okay, I think I have a workaround. Let's do that on Parrot. It's the same thing. So Parrot and Linux, and Kali, literally the same thing. I'm just opening my Parrot machine now. Let's clear all this. So for instance, we want to install. So let's learn together. Let's learn together. Let's assume I want to install what web. I've gone to Kali website. I've gone to the Kali website and I want to install what web. This is the command sudo apt install what web. So you just come to your Kali machine and you say sudo apt install what web. See, very interesting. So that's it. Zero new installed, so which means the what web is already in the newest version. So it's already installed here, being pre-installed. So for instance, you still want to know how to use it. Probably you've installed it. You want to know how to make use of it. Just come down again into the file, or you just go. For instance, so in Kali Linux, there's what's trying to be fast again, and I want people to catch up. So let me just slow down again the tempo again of my voice. So here, for instance, you want what web, just come here, type what web. It's the same thing, Kali and Parrot. So I'm just using this Parrot because the Kali is still updating and I don't want us to waste time. So please bear with us. Let's just use the Parrot. You come here, you say what web. You can even just say what web and press enter. Let's see what comes up. But as a rule of thumb, generally in Kali or in any of our Linux environment, whenever you're handling a particular tool and you don't know how to use that tool or utilize that tool, one thing you can do is to just type it, what web? Let's say what web. So you don't know how to use what web before. You say what web and you say H, that's help. And to bring out the help for you. Can you see? It has even told you how you can use it. You want to scan example.com, you just say what web, and you scan it. So it will give you the help. And there's also what we call manual page. So this is also like similar to the manual page also to give you all this. Yes, so that is how it works. So now let's use nmap. So for instance, you want to use nmap, just type nmap, type the H to help, and it gives you how you can use nmap. So let's say we want to scan a website using nmap. So it gives you all the options in nmap. That's the network mapper we talked about the previous day. So this is it. So let's say we want to scan even the nmap website. I think they should allow us to do that. I just don't want to want us to get us into any legal issues by scanning a page we're not authorized to do. So for instance, we want to scan. So what if you want to scan? Let's say nmap, you say nmap, and then so this is the parameter they have put v. Let's look for what v means. So you see, you don't just use all these codes. You need to know what it means. So let's say, come here, we'll go up to the script. Look for what V means. So what does V mean now? Let's look for it, the meaning of V. So that is it. It's to increase the verbosity level. So that's it. So you say V, say small letter V. The next command is A. Let's look for what A means. So this is how you do your research on your own. You know, you have to do it on your own. Don't just copy one code and paste it. So fine, you might be a script kiddie, but understand what your script is going to do. Understand what your script is going to do. So, and this is what I'm trying to show you right now and understand what the script is doing. So we see a capital A means enable the operating system detection, the version detection, and also do a script scanning and a trace route scan. So we now come here, we say capital A. The next thing they gave us in their example is the website. So we've done that, and then let's scan. Who can we scan now that we not? So let's say we want to scan um, Facebook again. Just don't want us to do something that will get us. So you press OK. And to pull out all the, well, Facebook is going to be extremely secured. So we might not really get so much vulnerability. But yeah, we're scanning it. You can see we see port 80 is open on Facebook. We see port 443. We see VNS solution. We have two services running on facebook.com. And this is also the IP address of facebook.com. You can see that it has loaded 153 scripts to scan with Facebook. So this is okay. These two ports, this is the HTTP port, and this is the HTTPS port, the secure TCP/IP port. So it's fine if those ports are open. So you can see we are scanning facebook.com. You can hack Facebook, or anybody can hack Facebook. It just depends on how you want to do it. But this is an experimental purpose, just for us to see what will pop up as you're scanning. Okay, so the scan is done. The scan is done. So let's check what our result has. You can see the SSL certificate of Facebook. It's facebook.com. It's in California. To the DNS, alternate DNS for all the other services they are running. The issuer of their SSL certificate is DigiCert, and they are using a SHA-2, which high assurance server. Yet, we have a TLS randomness not present at the time. Two services unrecognized, which is normal. If you have enough time, you can read through. You might be able to know which of those services they are. See, I see a whole lot of information. Just check around this and see some things. You know, you can do. So yeah, that's it. Which other tool can we use? Which other tool to do prompt? So we didn't find any vulnerability here. So we can also, there's another tool. Let me continue. Let's see if our Kali has finished. So I'll use Kali because that's all we all have installed. Oh, it's still installing a whole lot of things. Oh, wow. Damn it. So let's continue with our parrot OS. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So I'm showing you how. And then on Kali, if you want to just repeat the same command, just press the up button and you see it. So I should do the same thing for YouTube. You just can't. This is a scanning, we have 5 phases of hacking. I told you reconnaissance, scanning, attacking, clearing of tracks and all that. So this is just the first process where we're doing scanning now. Or maybe on the second process, which is the scanning part of it. So the one thing we need to take away from this is whatever tool you find on the net and you want to make use of that tool, just go in the tool type. Okay, let me just So now there's also a tool we call social engineering toolkit. Social engineering toolkit. I hope it's the same command over here. Parrot. I hope I have it installed here though. So, for instance, you want to do a social engineering, you just to set your social engineering toolkit, and then you can press enter. Let's see what comes up. So I'm not running as root, so it can't run the social engineering toolkit. So what that means is that thank God we came into this error. So when you see you're not running as root or you're not running as an administrator, that means your command needs to carry what we call super user do. I explained that earlier. I don't want to waste time right now because we're running out of time. You have exams to write this morning. So you have the sudo set toolkit, and then it has opened. You see all the information it's going to tell us now. I'm just going to show you how simple it is to actually embed or even to copy a website using social engineering toolkit. Told you it's one of the major things in the arsenal of a hacker. So do you agree with terms and services? You say yes, of course, you have to agree. A lot of us don't read all those things. It's necessary because we still use it. So now it has told us to select from the menu. This is the menu. I wish I could do this. It's the same thing. Whatever I'm doing here in this Parrot OS is exactly the same commands you will use in the Kali Linux machine. So just pay attention. The only reason why I'm using, okay, it's done now. So let's use this. So the same set toolkit, the same social engineering toolkit that we used um, in Kali. It's what I mean in the Parrot OS. We're going to use it here too. So set toolkit, you press enter. So it's popping up the same error that we're not running as root. So we do the same thing. I just want us to use this since this is what most of you have installed on your system. And say sudo, can you see it's the same thing? The same command I entered on Parrot is the same commands I'm entering here in Kali Linux. They're actually the same thing. It's just based on user preference. Yeah, well, a lot of people will argue that maybe Parrot is more secure when you're trying to be an activist or something. Fine. Anyone that goes for you, whichever one that works better for you, select it. Well, I always go with Cardinal Linux and also actually Parrot OS. Also, it's one of my major selection. I mean, one of my major tools I also use, and also Aclinic OS. That one is not here; it's too heavy. So you press enter. You enter your password and hit enter. You see, it doesn't even show you the characters. Then here will say yes. Existing day. You also have a nice day. Oh shit! I used the wrong. So sudo toolkit. Terms and condition, yes. Just trying to be so fast. So now selecting from the menu, let me close this. So these are all the things that have been installed. So let me close it. I don't need it any longer. Let's just go straight into some of the practicals. So this is the social engineering toolkit now opened. So if you want to use something there, it has given us a menu to select from. We have the social engineering attack, penetration testing, or fast track. We have the third party modules, update social engineering toolkit. So right now we don't need to update. We don't need, let's not waste time because we don't know how long we update. So let's go for social engineering attacks. Press one and press OK. You can see it has asked us for threat phishing attack vectors, website attack vectors, create a payload and a listener, mass mail attacker. So if you want to send bulk emails to people, I just click on the number 5 and I get this. So let's do spear phishing, which is number 1, or we can do a website attack vector. No, let's do spear phishing. So we select spear phishing, which is number 1. We press OK. And it has told us now allows you to very craft and send to large number of people, blah blah blah. So we have some other set of options. One, perform a mass email attack, create a file format payload. So file format payload, you can select that later. Then create a social engineering template. If you want to create a social engineering template now, click 3, press OK. Why did that not come out? Okay, so let's do 2. So now we've selected 2, which is to create a file format payload. So for instance, I want to send somebody a Microsoft Word document that I know we create. I mean, I want to have a malware embedded in it. It's very simple. or even an Adobe PDF. It's very simple. Let's go with number 17. So let's say I need an Adobe PDF, use number 17. I'll press enter. So if I have a PDF I have with me, I mean, previously one PDF document that has some topics that people might want, I'll just have it here like this and say, use this PDF attack. I mean, use my own PDF file. And then we'll select where we want to upload the file from. But I don't have a file prepared on this machine. So let's use number 2 and have a blank PDF there. Press number 2. So what we need now is Windows Reverse TCP shell. That's why it's always good to know networking when you're doing all these things. So if not, and I can't start breaking down what each of these things you do, but please just go and read it up on your own and know what it is. So you can do Windows Reverse TCP shell. So what that means is that it should spawn. In fact, that's the explanation in front. See, that's one very good thing about Linux. It's whatever you're doing, just pay very close attention. You get the explanation over time. See, the tools are available. Is how you as the attacker is able to manipulate all these tools that really, really matters. That is what really matters in ethical hacking, your skills, how you're able to research on all these things. So now we can do a reverse Windows TCP shell, which is spawn a command shell on the victim and send back to us as the attacker. So what that means is that if I click on that, once the person opens it, there's a command prompt to start running at the back end without the person's knowledge. And of course, once you have a command prompt, once I'll have a page like this, and all I'll be doing is just to be commanding things on that system. I can say, okay, can you get me an administrator password? Install this, install that, copy this file, copy that, delete this, insert this. Once you have a reverse shell. So let's do with number 1. If you ask us to enter a whole lot of parameters, we are out of time right now. You're out of time. So you set your local host. I'll just give us an additional 5 minutes. The moderator is already telling me that we should just add 5 minutes for you guys. So the local host, the IP address or the URL for the payload listener, local host, that's our IP address. If I didn't show you guys all those parts of IP address, that was too fast. So let me just show you. If you want to get your IP address here in Kali Linux, you come here, also in a terminal like this. And then the next thing you do is to, honestly, if there was time, I'll just keep going and going and going and going. But you need to keep the time. So if you need your IP address here in Kali Linux, you do if config. And for those of you that are familiar with Windows, in Windows it's called IP config. So, but in this case, it's if config, interface configuration. So say yes. So we can see our IP address. You see that the machine already suggested that this is your IP address, this is your netmax. These are commands that you should actually enter, but I was in a hurry to quickly get us into some of the tools that are in the Kali machine. So that is it. This is our IP address. So when we're doing a reverse shell, we have this one. So localhost, you put your IP address here, you set localhost, you set localhost, and then you put your IP address that we already have here. And yeah, let me show you something also. If you want to copy and paste things from your virtual box, there are some few tricks you need to do on your virtual machine. So if this is your virtual machine now, and you want to be able to, right now, if I copy a file, if I do a copy and control C now, I won't be able to paste it into our Kali machine. So what we can do to mitigate that is to come to your settings. There are a whole lot of pre-installation settings that that you need to do on your own. Please read up on all these things. We don't have enough time. In fact, there are some basic settings. We come to advanced, come here, do bi-directional. That's the shared clipboard. You can do a drag and drop, put it on bi-directional also. And then you say okay. And the settings has been saved. So that means now I can copy and paste from the host machine, that's my Windows machine, into my Kali machine. And I can also copy some things from my Kali machine into the host machine. So if you want to also share your drive, this is also how you can do it. You add a new drive, you put the folder path name, maybe drive C. There are a whole lot of settings. Please read up on all these things on your own. Let's not waste too much time here today. So for career paths, let me just give you a brief on career paths because we're running out of time. Please read up on all these tools. We can't go further into the attacks today, please. So let me just give you a brief on how you can get into the ethical hacking field or a career path. So, as a cybersecurity expert, we have different fields of in cybersecurity. So let me just use my last 5 minutes as a career path. I mean, my last 2 minutes as the career path advice. So, to get a career path in cybersecurity is very simple. We have different domains. So, depending on what tickles your fantasy, if you like to, if you like to, if you like to go deeper into ethical hacking, there's a career path. We have network specialists in the IT role. We have people that are very good when it comes to attacking networks. We have software development part of it, which as a you can come in as a in entry level. You come in as a cybersecurity specialist. We have cybercrime analyst. We have incident and intrusion analyst, and we have IT auditor. We also now have what we call cybersecurity analysts. We have cybersecurity consultants. We also have a penetration tester and penetration and vulnerability tester. We also have that in the field. So you don't necessarily always have to be a ethical hacker before you're a cybersecurity expert. We have different aspects of it. Can become a cybersecurity engineer, can become a cybersecurity manager, can become a cybersecurity architect, and a whole lot more in that field. So if you are good with applications, become a cybersecurity expert in applications. If you're good with network, you can become a cybersecurity expert with networks, where you can help people to defend their networks. We also have what we call SOC analysts, which is what all you're going to be doing will be to monitor people, activities on your network, on the network where you work or where you have been engaged to do that. I've done that in the past also, where we have to monitor traffic flow, from here to there, who is clicking this, who is opening that, whose password has been locked out. So there you can build up your career from there gradually, and then also do a lot of certifications in academic halogen. We have a whole lot of certifications available for people to apply to. You even have the ethical hacking course also, where you go straight into practicals. We cut all the talking and theory aspect of it, and most of the time we break it down for you in different phases of the ethical hacker. We also have the cybersecurity investigator, forensics investigator, also as part of the courses that we also offer here in terms of security. We have that. We have information security manager. So for those of you that are already maybe done something in IT previously and you want to just upgrade to become a manager in IT, we have courses that takes you along that path in the security field. So that is it. We have other courses. I'm sure I think Doc gave us that intro on the first day on all the courses that we offer in terms of cybersecurity. But as cybersecurity, you don't necessarily have to be a hacker to be a cybersecurity specialist. You can run other courses in cybersecurity, networking related, software development related, depending on your field and depending on your field and depending on what you like or what is of interest to you. That's what we determine. That's what we determine which field in cybersecurity that you can jump in. So yes, let's not go too deep into all this today. I would have told us to do some hacking courses, and the likes. So I don't want to chop into your exam time, so I'll just hand over to um, just give me a moment.
Good afternoon, everyone. I believe it's been a wonderful session thus far. Okay, so quick one. We've come to the end of the free training, cybersecurity free training for that started on Wednesday through Saturday. And I must say congratulations for your staying power, for what you've been doing, for your commitment. So basically, after now, what you need to do is to take your assessments. And a link will be sent to you after this class. So you're expected to click on that link, take your assessment, and you're expected to do this from now till 12 midnight today. So we expect everyone to be at their best, because out of this 10, out of who will be taking the assessment, so 10,000 participants will be selected for the free certification. So after that, we expect you guys to engage in the competition. And we're going to send you a series of information regarding that. So after the competition is the certification programs. So we expect those who are further interested to take the certification program seriously, because after the certification, there comes the IT, that's the paid internship. Now, this is how it works for those who will be putting in for our certification programs. So after the certification programs, so we have series of organizations who are willing to absorb our participants for the IT paid internship. So for within the period of 6 months. So we have about 295 organizations who are willing to take you guys as now. So it's very important for you guys to take the certification courses so that you can be eligible for that benefit. So after that, after the paid internship, there comes the job placement. And now this is where the catch is. The job placement is not just limited to organizations in Nigeria only. So we have those in, we have organizations in outside the country. They are willing to take you guys in. And, definitely that's a big win for everyone. This is just a move to curb the issue of unemployment and also to make lives better as it is today. So thank you very much, and stay glued to Halogen. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Halogen Group, also to other media platform like Twitter, Instagram, and all of that. So we expect you guys to follow us keenly for further instructions. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you guys soon. Bye.